The second module is the prolongation of the saga The Tiger King. So far in the chapter, we have been introduced with various facts of King's life, such as the astrologer's prophecy that was made at the time of his birth, about his upbringing and crowning, and his pledge to kill 100 tigers. So, let's continue with what we had started. We further read in the chapter that the Tiger King continued to hunt, and within 10 years he killed 70 tigers. But all of a sudden, an unplanned hurdle brought his mission to a halt. As no more tigers were left in the state of Pratibandpuram, the author mocks at this situation and speculates about several reasons for tigers' extinction. He says that perhaps out of fear or anxiety, tigers practiced birth control and did not produce any offspring, or they might have committed harakiri. Harakiri word here refers to the ritual suicide practice which was then followed in Japan. If not this, then they might have fled away from Pratibandpuram because they did not want it to be shot by any Indian, but rather would love to be killed by any British. Later, the Maharaja summoned Diwan Sahab, that is his minister, and pointed his gun towards him and said that he is yet to kill 30 more tigers. Out of fear, the minister cried and gave a silly reply that he was not a tiger and feared that the king might aim his gun at him. To this, Sir Jilani Jangjang Bahadur said that he was not foolish and would never mistake a minister for a tiger. The king then shares his opinion to get married. But the minister is mistaken twice and misunderstood the fact that maybe the king wished to marry the minister, that is why he is asking for the marriage. Now, if you observe this entire scenario that holds the conversation between the king and Diwan Sahab is hilarious and evokes laughter. Further, Maharaja ordered Diwan Sahab to draw the statistics of the tigers' population in different native states and find a royal girl from the state that possessed the largest number of tigers so that he could easily complete his target for the rest of the 30 tigers that were left to hunt. Now, what needs to be observed here is the fact that the author ridicules at this situation as this marriage was not a true marriage in the real sense and did not possess any sanctity, but it was only a marriage for agreement, or to be more precise, a marriage of convenience. Thereafter, whenever the king would visit his father-in-law, each time he would kill 5 to 6 tigers. In this manner, he completed the target of 99 tigers, and the king proudly showcased the tiger's skin on the walls of the reception hall as a mark of his bravery. With time, the king became more desperate and anxious to kill the 100th tiger. Throughout the day, he kept dreaming of the 100th tiger. Situation had gone so worse that not a single tiger could be traced. The Maharaja at this point was reminded of the astrologer's prophecy. The author at this situation adds a humor that it was easier to find a tiger's milk in the kingdom rather than a live tiger. Now, note that this illustration is just hyperbolic. Of late, the king's grief came to an end when he received the news that in the hillside village, sheep were disappearing. Initially, everyone accused Khada Mian Sahib and Veeraswamy Naikar, who were famous for stealing sheep from villages. The author exaggerates about their skill of theft and uses the expression that both of them had the ability to swallow the whole sheep. So it was later calculated that if not them, probably the tiger was responsible for this. To Maharaja, his joy knew no bounds. He announced 3-year exemption from all taxes for the villagers. The King Jilani Jangjang Bahadur set out to hunt this 100th tiger and refused to retreat to the kingdom until the tiger was located. But when it became impossible to find out this 100th tiger, the king's madness flew at its height. He summoned his minister, that is the Diwan, and ordered him to double the land tax. At this grave situation, the Diwan advised the king that the people would become dissatisfied and the state will fall prey in the hands of the Indian National Congress. But the king did not relent and threatened his minister to resign from the office. Now, this entire occurrence is a satire and commentary on the corrupt rulers and politicians who turn barbaric when things do not happen according to their wants and expectations. Now, with no options left, to save his job, the minister found the tiger that has been brought from People's Park in Madras and kept it hidden in his house. At midnight, when the whole town was asleep, the minister, along with his wife, pulled the tiger into his car and reached the forest where the king was hunting. Now, this incident is quite amusing as the tiger did not come out of the car and the minister had a tough time pushing the tiger come out of the car. Using a historical reference here, in this situation, a note of sarcasm has also been added by the writer. It seems from the gesture of the tiger that it was in the mood of satyagrah, as it silently protested against the injustice on tiger and did not want it to get killed by the king. The next day, the same tiger was spotted by the king. Immediately, he aimed and fired at the tiger. Now, Jilani Jang Jang Bahadur was all relieved, thinking that he was finally able to get rid of the 100th tiger. He ordered his minister to bring the tiger in a grand procession. When the associate hunters closely observed the tiger, they found it was alive, as the king's bullet had missed its aim. In confusion and fear of life, one of the hunters killed the tiger and, as commanded by the king, took the dead tiger in a procession and erected a tomb on the tiger's grave. Days later, the Maharaja's son's third birthday was celebrated. Now, when the king has fulfilled his vow to kill 100 tigers, he gave attention only to his child. The Maharaja Adhiraj wanted a special gift for his son on his birthday. So he went to a shopping center in the Pratibhanpuram but couldn't find any suitable gift. Finally, he spotted a wooden tiger and considered it to be the perfect gift for the occasion. The wooden tiger cost only 2¼ annas, but the shopkeeper knew that if he mentioned a low price, the king might take it as an insult. So, taking the advantage of the situation, the owner praised the craftsmanship of the wooden tiger and increased the cost rate to 300 rupees. The king, impressed with the bargain, said that it was a shop owner's gift to the crown prince. Now, on that day, when the king and his son were playing with the wooden tiger, one of the shavings pierced the Maharaja's right hand, but he paid no attention to it. Actually, it happened due to the unskilled carpentry and body that had tiny shaving of wooden piercing out. The next day, the infection flared in the Maharaja's right hand, and in 4 days it became a major wound. 3 surgeons performed the operation and announced that the operation was successful. The Maharaja is dead. Here, the surgeons' words are contradictory and ironical because if the king died, it meant that the operation was unsuccessful. In other words, or ironically, they supported the astrologer's prediction. The wooden tiger had ultimately killed the king, Jilani Jang Jang Bahadur, and thus made the prophecy true, and the story ends here. So, what do we conclude from the story? The story enlightens us with a strong message that being obsessed in winning over something and losing the control over oneself leads only to mishappening and upheavals. The Tiger King's extreme urge to win over the prophecy led to his death. The author also believes in the dictum, live and let live, as killing for pleasure is a grave sin. So the king finally meets his fate for his crime that he committed. The story also makes an appeal to the readers for the protection of wildlife and last but not the least, save tigers. Now time for reflection, students. As you can see on the slide, there are 2 pictures given. They relate with the theme of the text. Observe these pictures carefully and pen down your thoughts in 80 to 100 words. So, with that we come to the end of this video. Till then, good luck.